America's military strength depends on more than weapons. It depends on workers, shipyards, and supply chains. In this exchange, Congressman Mark Messmer presses Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on a growing crisis. Can the U.S. keep up with global threats if its industrial base is falling behind?
The chair now recognizes Mr. Messmer from Indiana for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Hegseth, General Kane, and Comptroller Hurst for being here today. Congratulations to all of you for rolling out the $1.5 trillion defense budget. I'd like to offer special thanks to Mr. Hurst and his Comptroller team for the work that it takes to put this budget together. It's a monumental task and important for our nation and our well-being. Secretary Hegseth, as you know, the theme of this year's NDAA is expanding the defense industrial base, and one of the key bottlenecks to that expansion is our workforce size. We are not producing enough skilled young workers, and too many regions with strong manufacturing potential remain underutilized. Would you support Congress working across committees on a national defense strategy a workforce strategy that promotes technical training, apprenticeships, and proven school-to-industry pipelines?
Absolutely. I think you'll find our budget fully aligned with the theme of the NDAA. And when it comes to skilled workers, whether it's DODEA schools, whether it's the Patriot Pipeline or any form of trades, we're investing in that because we need those folks invested in our industrial base.
Excellent. I'd look forward to working with my team to ensure those efforts align with the Department of Defense and the industrial workforce priorities. So my office will be reaching out. Also, Secretary Hegseth, we are in a shipbuilding crisis as the department implements President Trump's vision for a larger fleet. Should the Navy leverage a model of distributed modular shipbuilding that taps industrial strength outside of traditional shipyards, such as in the Midwest, in the Great Lakes, and Ohio and Mississippi Valley regions, to help expand capacity, to ease pressure on overburdened shipyards, and cut down on maintenance backlogs?
In short, yes, and including international options where we can work with partners who have specific capabilities that would speed up the timeline on shipyards that are behind in our own country. But you'll find $65 billion in this budget on shipbuilding, a lot of which builds on those types of capabilities.
Excellent. Would you also agree that platforms like unmanned surface vessels, tenders, and other support ships seem well suited for production outside traditional shipyards?
Absolutely. And in fact, some of those facilities were precisely the ones we visited on the Arsenal of Freedom tour. USVs, UUVs, where you don't need the same capabilities you would in a traditional shipyard, or you can invest in a new type of shipyard, specifically tailored to those more bespoke capabilities that can be scaled for the fight of the future, for sure.
Perfect. Thank you. Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, many from the department have reiterated support for the nuclear sea-launched cruise missile, and I believe President Trump needs more support options in the form of expanded theater nuclear capability. From your perspective, what specific deterrence problem does Slick Unmanned solve that current capabilities do not? And what risk do we assume if that capability is not fielded?
Take it first. Slick Unmanned provides, it's part of the multiple layers of nuclear deterrent that any president has to have at their disposal that creates dilemmas for enemies who are either nuclear capable or not, and ensures the kind of leverage required and defense required, deterrence required, that the nation that sort of underwrites everything we do. So more options on that the adversary can't account for is only good for us.
Only thing I'll add is, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, sir, we continue to modernize the full range of the triad. This is another tool in that regional normally, so it's something I support.
Thank you. As we look beyond the current program, should the department be thinking about a future sea-launched nuclear system with greater survivability, maneuverability, and potential hypersonic capability?
Yes, and I know we are.
Okay. Thank you. Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, one of the major bottlenecks in expanding the defense industrial base is test range access. Companies are waiting too long for range time, and that slows fielding at speed modern conflict demands. What is the department doing to expand and modernize the testing architecture?
$5.2 billion worth of investment, but I'll tell you, when we sit with industry, and I simply ask the question, what can we do for you? How do we empower you? Test ranges come up almost every single time, and the limits and the timeline limits they create. So we're trying to blow that open and create a lot more options for them.
Okay. Thank you. Secretary Hegseth and General Kane, I'd like to extend an invitation for both of you to come and visit Naval Surface Warfare Center Crane and see what a great work is being done in Southwest Indiana to support the warfighter and ensure our military edge. And with that, I'll close and surrender the rest of my time.
The chair.
This exchange highlights a critical but often overlooked issue in national security, the defense industrial base. While public attention usually focuses on troops, weapons, or global conflicts, the real backbone of military strength lies in something less visible, the ability to build, maintain, and supply equipment at scale. Congressman Mark Messmer zeroes in on this problem immediately. He points out a major bottleneck: workforce shortages. The United States simply isn't producing enough skilled workers to sustain and expand defense manufacturing. That includes welders, engineers, technicians, and tradespeople essential to shipbuilding and military production. And this isn't a small issue. Without a strong workforce pipeline, even the largest defense budget, like the $1.5 trillion mentioned, can't translate into real capability. You can allocate funds, but without people to do the work, production slows down. Hegseth's response signals alignment with this concern. He emphasizes investments in training programs, apprenticeships, and education pipelines. This reflects a broader shift in thinking. National security is no longer just about weapons, it's about workforce development. Then the conversation moves to what Messmer calls a shipbuilding crisis. This is where things become even more strategic. The U.S. Navy has long relied on a limited number of traditional shipyards. But those facilities are now under pressure, facing delays, maintenance backlogs, and capacity limits. Messmer proposes a different approach, distributed modular shipbuilding. In simple terms, instead of building entire ships in one place, different components could be built across multiple regions, like the Midwest or Great Lakes, and then assembled together. This idea mirrors modern manufacturing strategies used in other industries. And Hegseth agrees. He even opens the door to international partnerships, suggesting that allied nations could help accelerate production timelines. That's a notable point. It reflects how global defense cooperation is becoming more integrated. Another key moment is the discussion of unmanned systems. Platforms like unmanned surface vessels and underwater drones don't require the same infrastructure as traditional warships. That means they can be produced faster and in more flexible locations. This could be a game changer. Instead of relying solely on massive shipyards, the U.S. could expand production into smaller, specialized facilities, scaling up faster to meet modern threats. But the conversation doesn't stop there. Messmer raises concerns about nuclear deterrence, specifically sea-launched cruise missiles.